The rain poured heavily over the quiet streets of Maplewood that night, the kind of storm that makes even streetlights flicker and vanish behind mist. Officer Ryan Cole was tired, his hands gripping the steering wheel of his patrol car, his partner Mason scrolling through his phone beside him. They had been on duty for 12 long hours, too many noise complaints, too many domestic disputes, and too little patience left to go around. Then came the call. Possible suspect in a hit and run, female driver, mid-30s, silver SUV heading toward Oak Ridge Avenue. Ryan straightened in his seat. "That's a few blocks from here," he muttered, flicking on the siren. They had no name, no license plate, just a vague description. But the adrenaline was all they needed to spring into action. Minutes later, they spotted a silver SUV parked outside a cafe. A woman stood beside it, holding a small paper bag and a cup of coffee, seemingly unaware of the flashing lights approaching behind her. She looked calm, elegant even, her long black hair tied in a low bun, a navy blue trench coat shielding her from the rain. Ryan stepped out first. "Ma'am, step away from the vehicle," he barked. The woman turned, startled. What's wrong?" she asked, her voice soft but confused. Mason joined in. "Don't play innocent. You match the description. Hands where we can see them." Before she could speak again, they had her pinned against the car, handcuffs snapping around her wrists. Her coffee spilled to the ground, mixing with rainwater. "Please," she pleaded, "there must be some mistake." "Tell it at the station," Ryan interrupted harshly. People inside the cafe had started filming, murmuring amongst themselves. The woman's eyes welled up with tears, not from fear, but from humiliation. At least let me call my husband," she whispered. Ryan scoffed. "Sure, after booking. Let's go." At the station, the captain demanded a report. The woman sat silently, soaked and trembling, while the two officers recounted their quick and decisive arrest. Then she finally spoke, her tone calm and chillingly precise. "You didn't even ask my name," she said quietly. "Do you have any idea who I am?" Ryan rolled his eyes. "You're a suspect in a hit-and-run case." "That's who." She gave a small, almost pitying smile. "Call my husband," she said. "He'll clear this up." Mason frowned, irritated. "And who's your husband, ma'am?" She looked directly at him. "Colonel James Bennett, U.S. Department of Justice." The room went still. Ryan's face drained of color. The captain's hand froze midair. Everyone knew the name. Colonel Bennett wasn't just any official. He was one of the most respected federal prosecutors in the state, known for his zero-tolerance policy on police misconduct. Ryan forced a shaky laugh. "Nice try, lady." But the captain didn't laugh. He picked up the phone immediately, dialing a number with trembling hands. When the voice on the other end answered, the captain stammered, "Yes, sir, this is Captain Walker at the Maplewood PD. We have Mrs. Bennett here." The voice that came back was cold and firm. "Put her on the line." The captain handed her the phone. "James," she said softly. "Yes, it's me. I'm fine. Just a misunderstanding." There was a pause. Then the colonel's tone shifted to icy steel. "Stay put. Don't say another word." Within 30 minutes, the storm outside seemed to follow someone inside. Black SUVs pulled up in front of the station, and a group of federal officers walked in, their presence heavy and unyielding. Ryan and Mason exchanged terrified glances as Colonel Bennett himself entered, tall, broad-shouldered, his expression carved from stone. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. His authority filled the room. He walked straight to his wife, gently removing the cuffs from her wrists with a look of quiet rage burning in his eyes. "Did they hurt you?" he asked softly. She shook her head, tears streaming down. "Just humiliated me," she whispered. Bennett turned to the captain. "Who authorized this arrest?" Ryan stepped forward, trembling. "Sir, we received a call, description matched." Bennett cut him off. "And you didn't verify her identity. You didn't ask her name. You didn't even check the license plate." Mason stuttered, "We were just following protocol." Bennett's voice cracked like thunder. "Protocol does not mean you strip someone of their dignity because you're too impatient to do your job right." The captain tried to intervene. "Sir, they meant no." "Enough," Bennett snapped. He turned to one of his agents. "File formal complaints. I want their body cams, their reports, everything." That night, Ryan and Mason were suspended pending investigation. By morning, their careers were over. The footage had gone viral. People all over the country watched as two officers manhandled an innocent woman in public without so much as asking her name. In the days that followed, Mrs. Bennett received apologies from the department, the mayor, and even the governor. But no apology could erase the look in her eyes when she'd been handcuffed. She told her husband she didn't want revenge, she wanted reform. And that's what she got. The incident led to a sweeping change in the department: mandatory identity verification, de-escalation training, and an internal policy called the Bennett Protocol, ensuring that no officer could detain a person without first confirming who they were and why they were being stopped. Months later, Ryan sat in a small diner, sipping cheap coffee, staring out at the rain. He'd lost his badge, his reputation, everything. But maybe, just maybe, he'd gained something else: a painful lesson about arrogance, empathy, and the weight of a single mistake. Because sometimes, it's not the criminals who destroy careers. It's the truth. And that truth hit him harder than any punishment ever could.